Hi guys, hello! If you don't mind, would you please turn on the notification bell? YouTube isn't showing my videos to you at all, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of it, especially now that things are getting more and more interesting. Also, I think that YouTube is secretly unsubscribing you guys, so please pay attention to that. Hello, I hope you're all doing just fine. In this video we are going to get back to the Appmon and follow up on our previous video where we had discussed the God Grade, the highest level an Appmon can reach. We went through the history of it, the properties, and we briefly glimpsed at the power an Appmon at that level can unleash without getting into the specifics. We're going to go through the 6 individual God Grade Appmon and explain all of them, meaning their powers, their potential powers, everything. I will keep on saying that Appmon certainly also deserve a lot of love, which we will provide them on this channel. But just know that after we've gone through their character, we're going to go to the harsher debates, such as what is the difference between a Digimon and an Appmon? How powerful is a God Grade Appmon compared to a Digimon who reached the Ultra level? What if an Appmon were to fuse? Etc. We're not going to let the Appmon side of the Digimon universe go unexplored, mark my words. So if you are interested in that, make sure to subscribe. Now, in previous video I did tell you that all Appmon were given power levels, which pretty much defines how far they can get in battle compared to another Appmon. Pay attention, that does not mean that the power levels are an absolute. You always need to consider things like strategy, environmental advantage, the amount of backup you have, and so forth. However, if we were to not take into account these aspects, then the course of the battle is pretty much defined. And speaking of the power level, in previous video we did rank the 6 God Grade Appmon from weakest to strongest. It began with Poseidomon, who comes at 405,000, followed by Rebootmon at 420,000, then Uranosmon at 435,000, Gaiamon at 450,000, Hadesmon at 472,500, and to finish, Deusmon at 510,000. I have 2 things to say about these numbers. First, I decided to take the best version of this God Grade Appmon. This is in fact the highest recorded battle power they have ever shown, and it is going to be important for this video, you will see in a moment. Secondly, to just help you understand the height of their power levels, I would say take a look at Wargreymon. Take Wargreymon into account. While being a mega level Digimon itself, it had fought against the Appmon Globemon, who is at the ultimate level where we speak Digimon wise. The strongest Globemon had a battle power of 90,000, meaning that Wargreymon should be around that range. Just for the sake of it, let us say that Wargreymon didn't hold back and that we took its strongest version. So we're going to give it 100,000 battle power instead of the 90,000. A high number, but still low when compared to the God Grade Appmon. I think that the best way to understand how powerful the God Grade Appmon can be would be to use Wargreymon and compare its battle power to that of them. However, what you have to know, what you certainly have to know and understand from this video, the powers God Grade Appmon display really is beyond what many Mega level Digimon and even Ultra level Digimon have ever shown. But with that being said, we're going to go through the 6 God Grade Appmon by starting with the weakest, which is Poseidomon. Poseidomon is the first of the 6 God Grade Appmon we are going to discuss. Pay attention, it is not because we discuss it first that it is per se the weakest. Its highest recorded battle power came at 405,000, so it is still at least 4 times stronger than Wargreymon, and it is capable of doing significant damage around. When you look carefully at its appearance, you will see that it is a humanoid Appmon whose body is derived from various aquatic creatures, including the polar bear when you look at its legs, and the anglerfish, a deep sea fish that lives where light doesn't reach. Poseidomon has white fur, wears gold armor that resembles a horseshoe crab, it wears a white cape, and, like all God Grade Appmon, it has also a halo hovering on its back. Poseidomon's halo is blue and has a series of shark fins on it. So it is almost like a chimera of various sea animals. That's actually really well done. Usually, you will see Poseidomon wield an indigo trident, which is a clear reference to its Greek ancestor Poseidon, the god of the sea but also of storms and earthquakes. As Poseidon is a member of the 12 Olympians, we can now say that Poseidomon could become part of what I'd like to call the true Olympos XII. I say so because the members of the Olympos XII are based off the Roman versions of the Greek gods, which is absolutely crazy actually. None of the members are actually Greek when you look at their names. Aside maybe of one, namely Apollomon, who is the digital reincarnation of the Olympos XII god Apollo, the god of the sun and light. Just a side note, imagine that there is this battle between the Olympos XII and the true Olympos XII, and Apollomon has to pick a side of which group it is going to defend. Wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, if you have ever followed Marvel Comics, there is this storyline where the Avengers had to fight against the X-Men, and Wolverine belongs to both groups, as being a mutant himself made him an X-Man, while on the other hand, it had sworn allegiance, so to speak, to the Avengers. So he definitely struggled and had this ongoing moral dilemma of what decision he had to make. With Apollomon being of both Roman origin and Greek origin, as the name is being used in both myths, we could really have an amazing storyline. But with that being said, I'd like to add the following. Apollomon could join both groups if it so pleases because of its double origins. Poseidomon wouldn't be able to do so, however it does have a counterpart that does belong to the Olympos XII team, namely Neptunemon. And a face-off between both Neptunemon and Poseidomon would be crazy to say the least, even if, the way Poseidomon has been designed as an Appmon, it should be way more powerful than Neptunemon. We're going to get to that comparison in a moment. For now, let us continue to explore Poseidomon first, as we're still at surface level. Let us go deeper. The application name of which Poseidomon is based on is called Invincible, and there's a reason for that. You see, in case it wasn't clear already, every Appmon is born from a real-world smartphone application capability. For Poseidomon, when you hear Invincible, it denotes both its official application category and its literal divine mastery. So in other words, it commands the concept of invincibility. That's why its profile tells that the tides it creates boast impenetrable defense, barring all but those it grants exception to from entering. That's also why it is explicitly stated in episode 49 of the Appmon anime that attacks won't work on Poseidomon as it has invincible abilities. And in a way, it does make sense that it has those abilities. What many of you may not know, Poseidomon is created by an app fusion of Ujamon and Beautymon. Ujamon is a four-armed Leomon-like wrestler Appmon with a big sense of justice, but whose purpose in life is to battle and defeat powerful foes using the many martial arts it has mastered, so it loves to battle. Beautymon, on the other hand, is one who reached the pinnacle of beauty, and its purpose is to solely be and stay beautiful, so it doesn't want to be touched or go through something that would mess up its beauty. Combining the ultimate combat capability of Ujamon with the absolute flawlessness of Beautymon yields the invincible god of the sea Poseidomon. The invincible aspect to it makes a lot of sense, as a lot of its moves are defensive by nature. It even has a move called Godly Palm Strike, otherwise called Sea Emperor Palm Strike, where it launches two energy hands capable of containing an attack and turning it into the enemy. And you know what? This move, the Godly Palm Strike, reminds me a lot of Shakamon's Pilgrimage of Enlightenment pole. It is a move where those who challenge it are battling against an illusion on top of its palm, so in the end both their mind and body are exhausted. I like that both Poseidomon and Shakamon have moves where they use the palm of their hand. It's really giving that sort of divinity to their ways. It's like their ways of saying, "Stop here, you're not worthy." And there's another move that Poseidomon has which will better explain how powerful this God Grade Appmon truly is. The move is called Trident Fall, where it summons its trident and jabs it into any nearby piece of ground to send a giant water sprout upwards to drown the enemy. It is written that this attack can even break into the AR field. AR, in this context, stands for Augmented Reality. I won't get deep into the details because the AR field on its own deserves its own video, not just to explain what it entails, but mostly to make you understand where it finds itself in the hierarchical structure of the digital universe. So we're going to leave it at that for now, but what I'm going to tell you about the AR field though is the following. When we talk about the AR field, we are talking about a region of space located between the net ocean and the real world. They are the layer that finds itself closest to the human world, which might explain why all of them have one or multiple stuff resembling to the human world. With stuff I mean buildings, monuments, etc. I suspect that because the AR field is so close to the human world, that both worlds became intertwined. And I say so because when the AR field landscape is being damaged, it can affect the human world, such as causing small power outages and inducing irregular behavior in digital appliances. As the AR field is a separate, hidden digital layer overlapping the reality of the humans in the Appmon universe, normally an attack launched inside the AR field will be contained in there so it won't harm, or worse, it won't kill real humans or blow up real buildings. It will only cause some disruptions. However, when Poseidomon uses its Trident Fall move, the massive water sprout it summons possesses so much raw power and spatial distortion that it tears a hole right through the dimensional wall of the AR field. That would mean that the damage would bleed directly into the human world. I will go even as far and tell you the following. Poseidomon, who carries the title of Ruler of the Rough Seas, has the power to tear the AR field from the inside out, and the action would likely cause a massive digital vacuum. The internet would experience a total blackout, financial systems, global communications, and cloud storage servers would instantly crash and wipe out, effectively resetting modern human civilization's technology. So, Poseidomon's spatial tearing would mean that its massive, summoned water sprouts and tidal waves would physically manifest in the real world. Real cities would face sudden, devastating floods, and the shock waves would shatter glass, collapse buildings, and rip up streets. In other words, Poseidomon can literally breach the human world, something that many Digimon have not been able to do despite their ground powers. It took Demon to absorb an Arcadiamon who had absorbed many other Mega-level Digimon to simply open a portal to the human world. Poseidomon literally has at least one move that can get through, which is absolutely crazy. And to finish with Poseidomon, I want to bring back its counterpart Neptunemon once more, because when you check both their profiles, they are really quite similar, almost like brothers. But the biggest difference between the two is that Neptunemon is way more fleshed out. Neptunemon exists since 2005 and its story has been built through the years. In the Digimon Timebreaker game, for example, Neptunemon has literally a whole region that it governs, a region that is called the Abyss area. It even has constructed a castle at the bottom, so that only those who can withstand the water pressure of the extreme depth may enter. So while Neptunemon exists since 2005 and has its story so fleshed out, we by the way really should go through it, Poseidomon exists since 2016 and the whole Appmon project has been left to bite the dust, unfortunately. Normally, and I mean normally, Poseidomon's way of being designed as a God Grade Appmon should make it more powerful than Neptunemon, in theory, especially when we know that it has moves that goes through dimensions. Except that Neptunemon, in the meanwhile, due to its whole character being given more of a story, its strength at this point cannot really be underestimated. Like, the scales on its body is now covered in blue Digizoid, which grants it more agility and more speed on top of the speed it already naturally has. So, who is going to be the most powerful between both Poseidomon and Neptunemon? Let me know in the comment section. In the meanwhile, let us get to the next God Grade Appmon.